Some people.
In the quiet town of Franklin, Kentucky, stands Octagon Hall, a place where the past refuses to rest. Built in 1847 by Andrew Jackson Caldwell, this rare, 8-sided, 3-story brick mansion is one of only 4 such homes left in America. Designed for light and air, inspired by Orson Squire Fowler's 1848 book, The Octagon House, a home for all, its unique architecture hides a chilling truth. Beneath its charm lies a history of tragedy, war, and restless spirits, making it one of the South's most haunted locations. A dark past fuels the fear. In 1851, heartbreak struck. Caldwell's young daughter, Mary Elizabeth, just 12 years old, met a horrific fate. In the basement kitchen, her dress caught fire from an ember. She lingered for 7 agonizing days before passing. Her grave rests behind the house. But her spirit, it never left. Visitors hear her soft laughter, feel gentle tugs on their clothes, or glimpse a small girl near the fireplace where her life ended. The Civil War carved deeper scars. A Confederate sympathizer, Caldwell turned Octagon Hall into a refuge for rebel soldiers, a hospital, a hiding place during the 1862 retreat from Bowling Green. 12,000 Confederate troops camped here in a single night, followed by 18,000 Union soldiers. Many died on these grounds. Some hid in the attic. Their bodies later found, their spirits still trapped. Shadowy figures, dragging footsteps, and soldierly apparitions in the driveway haunt those who dare to visit. Chilling encounters that grip the soul. The paranormal activity at Octagon Hall is unforgettable. In 2003, during a Halloween ghost tour, a heavy fireplace kettle in the basement too heavy to budge swung out on its own, shocking onlookers. Civil War reenactors staying overnight heard footsteps and slamming doors. They found a body-shaped imprint in an empty upstairs room. Days later, a woman fluffed that same bed, only to return and find the imprint back, as if someone or something had lain there again. Electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs, capture eerie whispers. Some hear Mary Elizabeth calling for her mother or asking to play. Others catch strange, unexplainable voices. Shadow figures roam the halls. A sweet scent of flowers in the parlor can shift to the stench of decay in an instant. One spirit, tied to Confederate spy Jerome Clark, known as Sue Mundy, lingers near his gun, displayed in the house. Visitors feel cold touches, hear their names whispered, and sense eyes watching, always watching. A living museum of history and hauntings since 2001, the Octagon Hall Foundation has preserved this site as a museum showcasing Civil War artifacts, a slave cemetery, and historical exhibits. Renovations stir the spirits, with paranormal activity spiking during repairs. Museum director Billy Bird, once a skeptic, now shares tales of doors slamming shut, apparitions in the basement, and unexplained sound. Over 250 paranormal investigations have explored Octagon Hall, featured on Sci-Fi's Ghost Hunters, A&E's My Ghost Stories, and the Travel Channel's Most Terrifying Places in America. Why it captivates Octagon Hall's power lies in its truth. The documented deaths of Mary Elizabeth and Civil War soldiers anchor its hauntings in history. First-hand accounts, EVPs, moving objects, ghostly touches add a spine-chilling reality. For those over 50 seeking a thrilling yet historical adventure, Octagon Hall blurs the line between the living and the dead. Visit during a novice ghost hunt in October and you might leave with more than just a story. 2. Liberty Hall. Tucked away at 218 Wilkinson Street in Frankfort, Kentucky, Liberty Hall stands as a beacon of early American history and a chilling hub of paranormal activity. Built between 1796 and 1800 by Senator John Brown, one of Kentucky's founding fathers. This federal-style mansion is a National Historic Landmark designed with input from Thomas Jefferson himself. Its elegant brick facade and 4-acre gardens overlooking the Kentucky River belie a darker legacy of loss, mystery, and restless spirits that have captivated ghost hunters and historians alike for over 2 centuries. For a 50-plus audience seeking a blend of history and spine-tingling intrigue, Liberty Hall delivers an unforgettable tale. A history steeped in tragedy, Liberty Hall was a social and political hub, hosting luminaries like President James Monroe and General Andrew Jackson. But its grandeur hides heartbreak. In 1817, Margaret Varick, the 65-year-old aunt of Margaret Brown, John's wife, arrived after a grueling 800-mile journey from New York to comfort her niece following a family loss. Just 3 days later, on July 28, 1817, Varick fell violently ill and died possibly from a heart attack, acute indigestion, or exhaustion. She was buried in the Brown family plot on the grounds, but when the graves were moved to Frankfort Cemetery in the 1840s, hers was lost, leaving her spirit restless. This is the origin of the Grey Lady, Liberty Hall's most famous ghost. The mansion's lore also includes 2 other spirits. In 1805, a Spanish opera singer, Madame Rosa, visited from New Orleans for a concert and attended a party at Liberty Hall. She stepped into the gardens for a stroll and vanished. Despite extensive searches, including dragging the Kentucky River, her body was never found. Some speculate she was abducted by Native Americans or unsavory characters lurking in the nearby wilderness. Her terrified apparition, mouth frozen in a silent scream, is seen running through the gardens on humid nights. The third ghost, a War of 1812 soldier, or possibly Revolutionary War, depending on the tale, is said to have loved a Brown family cousin. He lingers at the parlor window, peering inside with a mournful gaze, forever separated from his beloved. Hauntings that chill the soul. The Grey Lady, Margaret Varick, is Liberty Hall's most enduring spirit. First sighted in the 1880s by Mary Mason Mame Scott, John Brown's great-granddaughter. She appeared as a tall, grey-veiled figure at the foot of Mame's bed in the upstairs room where Varick died. For 3 nights, Mame awoke to the apparition, screaming until her brother rushed in only to find the ghost gone. Since then, the Grey Lady has been spotted in the Palladian window, on the staircase, and in mirrors, her presence marked by cold chills, flickering lights, and doors that open and close on their own. A 1965 photograph captured a shadowy figure on the staircase, fueling her legend. Many believe she lingers because her grave remains unmarked, searching for peace, or watching over the home as a kindly guardian. Annual October tours, like Ghosts in the Garden, celebrate her story. The Spanish opera singer's ghost is less frequent but more haunting. Visitors report a dark-haired woman in the gardens, her face frozen in terror, running toward the river. Some hear faint soprano notes on still nights, as if Madame Rose's voice echoes her lost performance. The soldier's apparition, dressed in a British uniform, is seen peering into the ground floor parlor window, his longing palpable. These spirits, though less documented, add to the estate's eerie mystique, with no Brown family records confirming their origins, but plenty of eyewitness accounts keeping their legends alive. A museum alive with spirits today, Liberty Hall, and the adjacent Orlando Brown house, built in 1835 for John S. son, operate as a historic house museum owned by the National Society of the Colonial Dames of America in Kentucky. Open for tours from mid-March to mid-November. The site showcases Federal and Greek Revival architecture, period furnishings, and stories of the Brown family, including enslaved individuals like the Stepney family. Paranormal activity spikes during events like the Liberty Hall Oween tours, with only 20 spots for ghost hunts due to high demand. Visitors report unexplained footsteps, cold spots, and the Grey Lady's gentle presence. The site's executive director, Jessica Stavros, notes that while she's never seen the Grey Lady, countless Frankfurt residents swear by their encounters. Why it captivates Liberty Hall's hauntings are grounded in verified history. Margaret Varick's death is documented, and the mansion's role as a cultural hub supports tales of visiting performers and soldiers. The Grey Lady's frequent sightings, backed by photographs and decades of reports, lend authenticity, while the opera singer and soldier add dramatic folklore that grips the imagination. For those over 50, this blend of historical depth and ghostly intrigue offers a thrilling glimpse into Kentucky's past. The serene gardens and elegant interiors contrast with the chilling tales, making every creek and shadow suspect. Dare to join a ghost tour and meet the Grey Lady yourself. 3. Sauerkraut Cave. Hidden in the heart of E.P. Tom Sawyer State Park, a sprawling 550-acre oasis in Louisville, Kentucky, lies Sauerkraut Cave, a place where history's shadows refuse to fade. This unassuming cave, tucked behind the park's archery range, is all that remains of the notorious Lakeland Asylum, also known as Central State Hospital, which operated from 1873 to 1986. Once used to store perishable goods, including barrels of sauerkraut that gave it its name, this brick-reinforced tunnel harbors a chilling past of suffering, escape attempts, and death. For a 50-plus audience drawn to history's darker corners,
and they're building
Sauerkraut
campfires
Cave offers
and
a haunting
partying.
glimpse. Heed the tales and heed the warnings. Don't trespass, for this cave is closed to the public due to safety concerns, but its eerie legend lives on. Before becoming a public park in 1974, named for Judge E.P. Tom Sawyer, father of journalist Diane Sawyer, this land housed Lakeland Asylum, a mental hospital infamous for overcrowding and inhumane treatment. By the 1940s, the facility held over 2,400 patients, far beyond its 1,600 capacity, with many suffering from mental illness, brain injuries, or simply poverty and old age. Reports from the time, including a 1882 Louisville Courier-Journal article, detailed brutal conditions, ice baths, electric shock therapy, lobotomies, and even a murder charge against an orderly for drowning a patient in a bathtub. The cave, part of a network of tunnels beneath the asylum, was used for storage, but also served as a desperate escape route for inmates. Flooded, dark, and treacherous, the tunnel claimed many lives as patients, ill-equipped for the cold, sharp rocks, or deep water, perished in their bid for freedom. Estimates suggest around 5,000 patients died on the grounds, many buried in unmarked graves, their records lost, leaving their spirits restless. Sauerkraut Cave's paranormal reputation is as dark as its depths. Visitors who ventured inside before it was sealed off reported an oppressive atmosphere, like stepping into a room thick with unresolved sorrow. Paranormal investigators describe it as a sad place where spirits are trapped, unable to move on. One recurring entity, a large, burly man, is said to dominate the cave, his anger palpable, preventing other spirits from finding peace. Electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, capture chilling sounds. A young girl crying mommy, ghostly whispers, and anguished moans. Visitors have reported strange visions, feelings of being watched, and unexplained noises echoing in the blackness. One explorer described finding a woman's shoe and cow bones deep inside, fueling speculation about the cave's grim secrets. Some legends whisper of female patients taken to the cave to give birth, their babies vanishing without a trace, adding to the site's tragic aura. Today, Sauerkraut Cave is closed to the public due to safety hazards like flooding, mud, and snakes, as noted by park naturalist Nick Price. A large sign near the archery range warns of electronic surveillance to deter trespassers, and the entrance is gated, though graffiti-covered bricks hint at its allure. The park itself, open year-round until 10 p.m., offers trails, picnic areas, and 2 cemeteries with dilapidated gravestones, remnants of the asylum's lost souls. The hospital's 15 buildings were demolished in 1996, leaving the cave and these unmarked graves as the last physical traces of Lakeland Asylum. Paranormal investigations, including those featured on podcasts like Kentucky History and Haunts, have captured EVPs and even a shadowy image of the burly man, cementing the cave's haunted reputation. Why it captivates. Sauerkraut Cave's power lies in its grim authenticity. Historical records confirm the asylum's overcrowding and abuses, with the 1882 indictments and patient deaths grounding the hauntings in a brutal reality. The cave's inaccessibility only heightens its mystique, as first-hand accounts of ghostly voices, oppressive energy, and eerie artifacts like the lone shoe paint a vivid picture of suffering. For those over 50 who appreciate history's weight, the cave's blend of documented tragedy and paranormal phenomena creates a gripping narrative. It's a place where the past feels alive, whispering through the sealed entrance, though you can't enter. The nearby cemeteries and park trails offer a chance to feel the lingering sorrow of those forgotten. 4. Kasi Cemetery. Deep in the remote woods west of Elizabethtown, Kentucky, along a desolate stretch of Old Hardinsburg Road, lies Kasi Cemetery, better known as the Gates of Hell. This 300-year-old family graveyard, also called Grandview Cemetery, is one of Kentucky's most infamous haunted sites, shrouded in tales of occult rituals, restless spirits, and an eerie stillness that chills even the bravest souls. Dating back to the 1700s, its weathered headstones and Iron Gate ruins mark a place where history and horror collide. For a 50-plus audience drawn to dark history and spine-tingling mystery, KZ Cemetery offers a haunting journey into the unknown, though its isolation and reputation warn visitors to tread carefully. Kasi Cemetery, likely named for a local family, holds graves from the 1700s and 1800s. Many so worn their inscriptions are illegible. Located in Hardin County, 18 miles west of Elizabethtown's bustling E-town, the cemetery sits at the end of a long, winding gravel road past Bethlehem Academy. Now a restaurant. Its remoteness no cell service, surrounded by dense forest, sets the stage for its sinister nickname. Local lore claims the Gates of Hell moniker stems from alleged satanic rituals in the 20th century, with a 2003 investigation by the Kentucky Society for Ghost Research uncovering animal remains, dogs, cats, a calf, and a deer scattered among broken headstones alongside a bloody dog food bag. While Kentucky State Police found no definitive evidence of animal cruelty, locals dubbed it the killing field due to persistent tales of sacrifices and black candles. The most chilling legend involves a malevolent spirit, possibly summoned by these rituals, said to trap the souls of children buried here. Visitors are warned to leave offerings, toys, coins, flowers to appease these spirits, or risk their cars failing to start, stranding them in the dark. A 1980s suicide described by a medium as a young man who hanged himself from a tree adds to the cemetery's grim aura, though no official records confirm this event. Kasi Cemetery's paranormal activity is as vivid as it is unsettling. Visitors report an overwhelming sense of dread, with some experiencing sudden nosebleeds or speaking in strange tongues that fade as they leave. The large green orb, captured in a 2002 photo by investigator Beth Pinotti, is said to hover briefly before shooting skyward. Shadowy figures, including a woman in white and a tall, snake-like black entity, have been seen weaving among the trees. Disembodied screams, footsteps, and childlike voices crying mommy echo through the overgrowth, captured in EVPs by groups like Serious Paranormal. Car troubles are a hallmark of the Gates of Hell, Countless reports describe vehicles stalling or headlights dimming on the long driveway, only to restart miles away. One visitor in 2008 felt an oppressive energy, hearing rustling in the woods, while another saw a woman in white staring intensely, confirmed by a friend who saw the same. Creepy artifacts, baby dolls hanging from trees, a Ouija board with clawed-off letters, and black electrical tape heighten the unease, though vandalism has scarred this sacred ground. Bishop James Long, who coined the nickname Gates of Hell, calls it one of the darkest places he's investigated, with his team experiencing nosebleeds, panic attacks, and EVPs that still haunt him. Casey Cemetery is a small, unkempt family plot with no groundskeeper, its headstones broken and grass overgrown. A modern sign marks the entrance, surrounded by odd offerings, a rubber duck, a Tigger figurine, soggy stuffed animals. The cemetery is public but on private property, with police patrols and surveillance to deter trespassers, especially at night when thrill-seeking teens gather. Investigators urge respect, no provoking, no vandalism to avoid the spirit's wrath. Leaving an offering like flowers or a prayer is said to ensure a safe visit. Why it captivates. Casey Cemetery's allure lies in its verified history and bone-chilling phenomena. The 2003 animal remains discovery documented by the Kentucky State Police, and the cemetery's 18th century origins ground its hauntings in reality. Eyewitness accounts of orbs, shadow figures, and EVPs, combined with physical sensations like nosebleeds, create a palpable sense of dread. For those over 50 who value historical depth and eerie tales, the Gates of Hell offers a thrilling yet cautionary experience. Its isolation no-cell service, a 15-mile walk to help amplifies the fear, making every rustle suspect. Visit by day, respect the spirits, and leave an offering, or risk not leaving at all.
Full and tobacco farm
Maple
on the
Hill
spots.
Nestled
Inexplicable
at
perfume odors.
2941 Perryville Road in Springfield, Kentucky, Maple Hill Manor is a grand Greek revival plantation home. Built in 1851 by Thomas Irvine McElroy as a wedding gift for his young bride, Sarah Jane Maxwell. This award-winning bed and breakfast, voted the most historic charm in the U.S. and Kentucky's best band by Kentucky Monthly magazine, sits on 15 acres of rolling farmland surrounded by horse and tobacco fields. Beneath its antebellum elegance, 14-foot ceilings, 9-foot windows, a cherry staircase lies a chilling legacy of Civil War tragedy, family loss, and restless spirits. For a 50-plus audience seeking history with a ghostly thrill, Maple Hill Manor's documented hauntings and serene beauty make it an unforgettable destination. Constructed with bricks made by enslaved laborers, Maple Hill Manor served as a Confederate field hospital during the Battle of Perryville in 1862. A brutal clash that left over 7,600 soldiers dead, wounded, or missing. The second floor, particularly the room adjoining the Clara Barton suite, was an operating theater where countless soldiers endured amputations and died in agony. Of the McElroys' 7 children, 4 passed away in the house at young ages, and both Thomas and Sarah died there as well. These tragedies, combined with the home's role in the war, are believed to fuel its paranormal activity. The nearby Perryville battlefield, just 20 minutes away, amplifies the region's haunted reputation, with Maple Hill often cited as an extension of its restless energy. Guests and investigators report eerie phenomena that linger in Maple Hill's thick brick walls. In the Clara Barton room, a guest in March 2021 awoke to the security chain rattling and heard a woman crying, and a man groaning in pain from the adjacent former operating room despite being the only ones upstairs. Another visitor in 2018 felt an unseen presence sit on their bed, followed by a male voice calling ma'am, distinct from their snoring husband. Cold spots, phantom perfume scents, and strange lights in photographs are common, as are vivid, unsettling dreams that some attribute to the spirits of soldiers or the McElroy children. Footsteps echo from empty rooms, and doors knock with no one behind them. A lady in white, possibly Sarah Jane, has been sighted gliding through the halls, while shadowy figures move in the upstairs surgical area. Paranormal Connections and Supernatural Investigative Services, who investigated on October 17, 2023, used EMF detectors and motion sensors, capturing unexplained voices and movements. Featured in over a dozen books, 3 TV shows, and 50-plus investigations, Maple Hill's hauntings are well documented. Yet guests describe the spirits as non-threatening, adding to the manor's mystique. Today, Maple Hill Manor operates as a luxurious band with 7 antique appointed rooms, each with private bathrooms, air conditioning, and spa robes. Guests enjoy gourmet breakfasts, think cherry cream cheese French toast, or hot brown quitch, and homemade desserts like hummingbird cake. The 15-acre grounds feature a fire pit, hammocks, and alpacas, offering a peaceful retreat near the Kentucky Bourbon Trail and Abraham Lincoln's birthplace. The manor's silence, described as the scariest part by one guest, heightens its eerie allure, yet its hospitality earns rave reviews on TripAdvisor, with 769 travelers praising its comfort and charm. Why it captivates. Maple Hill Manor's hauntings are rooted in verified history. The Battle of Perryville's toll and the McElroy family's losses are documented, grounding the paranormal in reality. Guest accounts, like the 2021 EVPs and physical sensations, add authenticity, while the manor's elegance contrasts with its dark past. 6. Red Dog Road. Tucked along Highway 38 in the rugged mountains of Harlan County, Kentucky Red Dog Road is a desolate stretch steeped in the gritty history of coal mining and whispered tales of restless spirits. This narrow, winding road, connecting Harlan to Avarts, is infamous for its eerie phenomena, earning a reputation as one of Kentucky's most haunted byways. For a 50-plus audience drawn to the raw history of Appalachia and its ghostly lore, Red Dog Road offers a chilling journey where the past lingers in the shadows. But beware, this is not a road to travel lightly, especially after dark. In the 1930s, Harlan County was a battleground of coal mining strife, known as Bloody Harlan for its violent labor disputes. Red Dog Road, a path once walked by miners to and from work, is tied to a dark legend of betrayal. Local lore tells of a jealous coal miner who suspected his wife of infidelity. In a rage, he shot and killed another miner, only to realize he'd murdered the wrong man. The wronged miner's spirit is said to roam Red Dog Road, searching for his killer, his carbide lamp flickering through the trees. While this tale lacks official records, it's been passed down through generations. As noted in sources like Harlan County Trails, the road also gained notoriety in 1969, when a young woman was found murdered in the nearby mountains, adding a layer of real-life horror to its mystique. Beyond the miner's tale, Red Dog Road is linked to another grim story from the Coal Wars. A miner who tried to unionize was forced to watch his wife and young daughter, Annie, murdered by company enforcers before being killed himself. Known as Headless Annie, her spirit is said to haunt the road, sometimes appearing headless or holding her head, chasing cars, or standing silently by the roadside. These stories, rooted in Harlan's violent past, fuel the road's haunted reputation. Travelers on Red Dog Road report unsettling experiences that defy explanation. At a certain fork, if you're quiet, you might hear footsteps crunching in the woods above, as if someone or something is pacing. Strange lights, like a miner's headlamp, flicker from tree to tree, moving unnaturally fast. Some see a group of lights, as if ghostly miners ride invisible coal cars along the mountain's old tram lines. A massive, shadowy specter has been spotted standing in the road, vanishing when approached, believed to be the murdered miner seeking justice. Perhaps the most terrifying tale involves a ghostly woman who appears on the road, only to materialize in the back seat of a moving car, startling drivers. Reputable witnesses, including law enforcement, have reported this apparition. Some so shaken they quit jobs requiring travel on Highway 38. In 2022, a YouTube video by Ignited Coyote documented a paranormal investigation capturing unexplained lights and sounds, reinforcing local claims. Drivers also report cars stalling or being lifted briefly. As one woman described her Subaru's passenger side being picked up and dropped in a 2010s account. These phenomena, paired with the road's isolation, no cell service, dense woods, create an oppressive atmosphere that lingers long after you leave. Red Dog Road remains a functional route, part of the Black Mountain off-road adventure area, drawing tourists unaware of its haunted lore. Its gravelly, uneven surface is not car-friendly, and locals warn against driving it at night due to both paranormal and practical dangers like poor visibility and wildlife. The Harlan County Ghost Hunters and Bloody Harlan Tours explore the area, offering ghost walks that include Red Dog Road, especially during October's Vintage Fall Festival or Jeep Fest. The road's haunting is so potent it's featured in Kentucky After Dark's Passport program, a guide to the state's spookiest sites. While it captivates, Red Dog Road's hauntings are anchored in Harlan County's brutal history, Coal Wars, murders, and labor strife documented in historical accounts. The 1969 murder mystery and ongoing paranormal reports, like those from the Harlan County Ghost Hunters, add chilling credibility. For those over 50 who appreciate Appalachia's rugged past and its ghostly tales, this road offers a visceral connection to a time of hardship and vengeance. The flickering lights, Headless Annie's pursuit, and the ghostly hitchhiker create a narrative that's both thrilling and hauntingly real. Visit by day, respect the legends, and keep your car running. You might not be alone on Red Dog Road. 7. X-Cave at Carter Cave State Resort Park. Deep beneath the forested hills of Carter Cave State Resort Park, at 344 Cavalier Drive in Olive Hill, Kentucky, 10 Cave weaves a haunting tale within its limestone corridors. Named for its unique X-shaped layout, where 4 entrances converge at a central chamber, this cave is one of over 50 caverns in the 2,000-acre park established in 1946. Known for its stunning formations, luminous stone fans, pipes, and spirals formed over millions of years, X-Cave is a year-round attraction, drawing visitors for its geological wonders and chilling paranormal lore. For a 50-plus audience captivated by nature's beauty and eerie history, X Cave offers a thrilling descent into Kentucky's haunted underworld. X Cave's origins are tied to the park's rugged terrain shaped by geological forces and human history. Used during the War of 1812 for saltpeter mining to produce gunpowder, the cave bears the mark of early explorer Simon Kenton, with Simon Kenton 1783 etched near an entrance. A darker legend swirls around two Cherokee lovers, a warrior named Hurricane and his beloved, whose forbidden romance ended in tragedy within the cave's depths. According to local lore, Hurricane discovered a hidden vein of silver in X Cave, but kept it secret to craft gifts for his love. When their affair was discovered, tribal elders executed them in the cave, their spirits now bound to its walls. While this tale lacks historical documentation, it's a staple of local storytelling, amplified by paranormal reports. The cave's use as a shelter for Native Americans and pioneers adds layers of mystery with artifacts like arrowheads found in nearby caverns. X Cave's paranormal reputation is as captivating as its stalactites. Visitors on guided tours, which span 3/4 of a mile and last about an hour, report an eerie presence in the central chamber where the 10 converges. In a 2020 account posted on Kentucky Haunted Houses, a family staying at a park cottage near X Cave witnessed a man crossing a field, vanishing before their eyes, followed by heavy footsteps and banging cupboards in their lodging. Inside the cave, paranormal investigators, including teams like Haunted Heartland Tours, have captured EVPs of whispers and cries, some resembling Native American chants or a woman's voice calling out. Shadowy figures, believed to be the Cherokee lovers, are seen dotting between formations while a cold, oppressive energy grips certain passages. A 2023 TripAdvisor review described a tour guide sharing tales of flickering lights and unexplained chills even on warm days, with one visitor feeling a gentle touch on their shoulder in the dark. The cave's tight spaces and dim lighting amplify the unease, with some reporting visions of a warrior with a glowing object, possibly Hurricane Silver. The Lexington Herald Leader 2024 notes X Cave as a must-see, but locals warn of a restless energy, especially during winter when ice stalactites form at the entrances, as if the cave itself is alive. X Cave is one of 2 caves alongside Cascade Cave, open year-round for guided tours, praised for its accessibility and knowledgeable guides, as noted in a 2024 Herald Leader article. The park offers 28 lodge rooms, 12 cabins, and camping, with trails, canoeing, and fishing on Smoky Valley Lake. X Cave's tours, described as easy walks for all ages on TripAdvisor, showcase formations like the giant's ribcage and pipe organ, but the cave's haunted lore adds a thrill. Visitors are urged to bring a flashlight for better footing, and to respect park rules no trespassing after hours, as the cave is part of a protected ecosystem hosting 40,000 hibernating Indiana bats. Why it captivates? X Cave's allure lies in its blend of verified history and chilling folklore. The saltpeter mining and Simon Kenton's mark are documented, grounding the cave's past, while paranormal reports, EVPs, vanishing figures, and physical sensations lend credibility to its haunted reputation. For those over 50 who appreciate nature's grandeur and historical depth, X Cave offers a unique mix of geological awe and ghostly intrigue. The Cherokee Lover's Tale, the unverified, resonates with the region's Native American heritage, making every echo suspect. Book a tour, but don't linger in the 10 alone. You might not be the only one there. 8. Old Prestonsburg Courthouse. In the heart of Prestonsburg, Kentucky at 130 South Court Street, the Old Prestonsburg Courthouse stands as a weathered monument to Floyd County's past. Built in 1902, this Beaux Arts-style building, with its grand columns and intricate brickwork, served as the county's judicial center until 1984. When a new courthouse took over, now housing the Floyd County Judicial Center and community spaces, its historic walls reverberate with tales of trials, executions, and restless spirits. For a 50-plus audience drawn to Appalachian history and eerie lore, the Old Prestonsburg Courthouse offers a chilling glimpse into a place where the echoes of justice mingle with ghostly cries. The courthouse's history is steeped in the gritty realities of early 20th century Appalachia. As Floyd County's seat of justice, it hosted countless trials, from petty disputes to violent crimes, including murder convictions tied to the region's infamous feuds like the Hatfield-McCoy conflict. Local lore, as noted in ExploreKeyWildlands.com, claims the courthouse was a site of public executions, with prisoners hanged in the courtyard or nearby, their desperate cries lingering in the air. The building's basement, once a holding area for inmates, is said to have housed those awaiting trial or execution, adding to its dark legacy. While specific records of executions are scarce, the courthouse's role in a region marked by violence exacerbated by the 1958 Prestonsburg bus crash, which killed 26 students, and a driver nearby fuels its haunted reputation. One chilling tale centers on a prisoner executed for murder in the early 1900s, Locals believe his spirit, wronged by a hasty trial, remains trapped, seeking justice. Another story involves a woman who died tragically during a trial, possibly a victim of foul play, her screams now heard in the courtrooms. These stories, though unverified, are amplified by Prestonsburg's proximity to sites like the Big Sandy River, where the 1958 bus crash left lingering sorrow, with reports of disembodied screams near the crash site. The old Prestonsburg courthouse is a hotspot for paranormal activity, as documented by KentuckyHauntedHouses.com. Witnesses report hearing murmured conversations and footsteps in empty courtrooms, as if ghostly trials continue after hours. In 2019, a janitor claimed to hear a gavel banging in the main courtroom at midnight despite the building being locked. Paranormal investigators, including the Eastern Kentucky Ghost Squad, who explored nearby Pikeville's courthouse in 2025, note similar activity in Prestonsburg. Their spirit talker device captured voices saying guilty and help, suggesting spirits of prisoners or victims linger. A 2023 investigation by the Supernatural Investigative Services team recorded EVPs of a woman crying and a man shouting, "Not fair," in the basement where cells once stood. Visitors report cold spots, flickering lights, and the sensation of being watched, especially near the old judge's chamber. Some claim to see shadowy figures in period clothing, men in suits or women in long dresses, moving through the halls, vanishing when approached. The courtyard where executions allegedly occurred is said to emit a heavy, oppressive energy, with one 2024 TripAdvisor review describing a visitor feeling pushed by an unseen force while photographing the building. Today, the old Prestonsburg courthouse is part of Floyd County's civic landscape, hosting community events and offices. Its historical significance is preserved through tours offered by the Prestonsburg Tourism Commission, especially during October's Ghost Walks, which highlight its haunted lore alongside sites like the Samuel May House. The building's grand staircase and ornate interiors contrast with its eerie reputation, making it a draw for history buffs and ghost hunters alike. Visitors are urged to respect the property, no trespassing after hours, as it's actively monitored. Why it captivates. The old Prestonsburg courthouse's hauntings are rooted in its documented role as a judicial hub in a turbulent region, with trials and alleged executions providing a plausible basis for its paranormal activity. Reports of EVPs, shadowy figures, and physical sensations, backed by credible investigations, add authenticity to its ghostly tales. For those over 50 who appreciate Appalachia's rich history and its darker side, the courthouse offers a thrilling blend of historical gravitas and supernatural intrigue. The echoes of past verdicts and the region's violent legacy make every creek a story. Join a ghost tour, but listen closely. The spirits of Prestonsburg's past may still have something to say. 9. Gaines Tavern History Center. At 150 Old Nicholson Road in Walton, Kentucky, the Gaines Tavern History Center, also known as the Abner Gaines House, stands as a haunting relic of early 19th century Appalachia. Built around 1814 by Colonel Abner Gaines, this federal-style mansion with its 3 stairways and 10 carved mantels served as a tavern, inn, and stagecoach stop on the Covington-Lexington Turnpike. Listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1979, it's now a museum maintained by the city of Walton, which purchased it in 2006 and opened it to the public in 2009. Nicknamed the Kentucky Horror House by locals, its history of murders, suicides, and natural deaths has earned it a chilling reputation, amplified by a 2022 Ghost Hunters episode on Discovery Plus. For a 50-plus audience drawn to historical depth and ghostly intrigue, Gaines Tavern delivers a gripping tale of restless spirits and a tragic past. Abner Gaines, born in 1766 in Virginia, arrived in Kentucky by 1804, becoming a Boone County justice and later sheriff. He purchased the property in 1813 from Archibald Reed, who had operated a tavern there since 1795. Gaines built the grand 17-room mansion and established the first stagecoach line between Cincinnati and Lexington, a 34-hour journey in 1818, with his home as a key stop for weary travelers. He and his wife, Elizabeth Matthews, raised 13 children here, some of whom gained notoriety, like John Pollard Gaines, who owned Maplewood Farm, and enslaved Margaret Garner, whose tragic escape inspired Toni Morrison's Beloved. The tavern's darker history includes documented tragedies. Local accounts, as reported by WKDQ.com in 2023, cite a series of murders and suicides within its walls, though specific records are sparse. One chilling tale involves a stagecoach traveler, possibly a woman, murdered in the house, her spirit now tied to the upstairs bedrooms. Another legend speaks of a Gaines family member who took their own life, their anguish lingering in the home. The enslavement of individuals like Margaret Garner adds a layer of sorrow, with some believing the spirits of the oppressed remain. These tragedies, combined with natural deaths among the Gaines family, 2 children, Harriet and Anne, died young of illness, fuel the house's haunted aura. The Kentucky Horror House lives up to its name with vivid paranormal activity. During the 2022 Ghost Hunters investigation, the team Jason Hawes, Steve Gonsalves, Dave Tango, and Shari Debenedetti captured EVPs of moans and whispers, including a voice saying, "Help me," in the basement, once used for storage and possibly slave quarters. Visitors report doors slamming, cold spots, and the sound of boots pacing the grand entrance hall as if a stagecoach driver still awaits his next ride. A 2025 Kentucky Historic Travels account describes a shadowy figure in a top hat, believed to be Abner himself, seen near the fireplace, while a woman's silhouette lingers in the upstairs windows. Guests on guided tours, offered by docents in period costume, have felt unseen hands touch their shoulders or heard children's laughter in empty rooms, possibly the spirits of Harriet or Anne. A 2023 Yelp review noted a visitor's camera malfunctioning inside, only to capture a misty figure later. The house's oppressive energy peaks during storms, with investigators like Gonsalves noting a sad, heavy presence during a lightning-filled night. The Boone County Public Library's 2022 video documented objects moving inexplicably, like a chair shifting in the dining room, adding to the house's eerie lore. Today, the Gaines Tavern History Center hosts tours, vintage car shows, clothing displays, and ice cream socials, with a modest $3 entry fee. The grounds, marked by Kentucky's Brown Highway signs as a state historical site, are free to explore. The city's restoration efforts, begun in 2007, have preserved its federal-style elegance, 6-panel doors, original hardware, and carved baseboards, making it a gem for history lovers. However, its limited tour schedule, posted on the Gaines Tavern History Center's Facebook page, requires planning. Ghost tours, especially in October, draw crowds eager to experience its haunted legacy, but visitors are urged to respect the property no trespassing after hours, as it's actively monitored. Why it captivates? The Gaines Tavern's hauntings are grounded in its verified history as a stagecoach stop and the documented tragedies of the Gaines family and enslaved individuals like Margaret Garner, paranormal evidence EVPs, moving objects, and credible witness accounts from ghost hunters and local historians lends authenticity to its ghostly tales. For those over 50 who value Kentucky's pioneer past and its darker undercurrents, the tavern's blend of elegance and horror creates a compelling narrative. The spirits of travelers, family members, and the enslaved seem to linger, their stories etched into the walls. Book a tour, but listen closely. The Kentucky Horror House still whispers its secrets. 10. Whitehaven Mansion. Perched at 1,845 Lone Oak Road in Paducah, Kentucky Whitehaven Mansion, also known as the Anderson Smith House, is a majestic classical revival landmark that doubles as the only historic home in the United States, serving as an interstate welcome center. Built in 1865 by tobacco dealer Edward L. Anderson, this two-story brick farmhouse was transformed in 1903 by businessman Edward Atkins, who hired architect Alda Lafayette Lassiter to add a grand staircase, ornate plaster ceilings, and an iconic 8 Corinthian columned portico, naming it Whitehaven. Listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1984, it now welcomes travelers along I-24 with period furnishings and memorabilia of Paducah native Vice President Alvin Barkley. Yet, beneath its restored elegance lies a chilling history of neglect, tragedy, and restless spirits. For a 50-plus audience drawn to historical preservation and eerie tales, Whitehaven's haunted legacy is as captivating as its architecture. Whitehaven's story is one of resilience. After Atkins' wife, Grace, died shortly after the 1903 remodel, he left for Oklahoma, selling the 22-room mansion to Paducah Mayor James P. Smith in 1908. Smith renamed it Bide a Wee, a Scottish phrase meaning come rest a while, and his family added formal gardens and a storm shelter, living there until 1968. By the 1970s, neglect took hold. Caretakers reportedly abused the property, selling fixtures, and vandals shattered nearly every window, leaving ceilings and floors rotted. Locals, as noted in a 2016 Cape Girardeau history post, called it a creepy mansion where horses were kept inside, cementing its haunted reputation. In 1981, Kentucky Governor John Y. Brown Jr. and Secretary of Transportation Frank Metz saved it from demolition, restoring it as I-24 Welcome Center, opened on June 23, 1983, with its kitchen wing repurposed for restrooms and an Alvin Barkley Museum upstairs. Tragic tales fuel its ghostly lore. Local legends, shared on TripAdvisor in 2023, whisper of a woman, possibly a caretaker's wife or a Smith family servant, who died under mysterious circumstances. Perhaps a suicide or accident in the attic bedrooms. Another story involves a Civil War-era soldier, possibly tied to Paducah's role as a Union stronghold, whose restless spirit lingers from a nearby battlefield. While these stories lack precise documentation, The mansion's decades of abandonment and its proximity to historical violence lend credence to its haunted aura. Whitehaven's paranormal activity is subtle but persistent, as reported by visitors and staff. A 2022 TripAdvisor review from a Paducah native recalls teenage tales of the mansion as a haunted house before its restoration, with eerie vibes lingering even now. Tour guides, like Regina from the Department of Tourism, share stories of unexplained footsteps echoing in the grand staircase and doors creaking open in empty rooms. A 2024 Road Trips and Coffee Post mentions visitors hearing a woman's faint sobs in the attic, believed to be the spirit of the tragic woman, while others report seeing a shadowy soldier near the portico at dusk. Paranormal investigators, though limited in access due to the mansion's public use, have noted cold spots and EVPs capturing whispers like "stay" or "leave" in the Barclay Museum. A 2023 Yelp review described a camera malfunction during a tour, later revealing a misty figure in photos. The butterfly garden and gazebo outside, added during restoration, are said to draw apparitions, with one visitor in 2025 claiming to see a woman in a long dress vanishing near the storm shelter. The mansion's 24-hour lobby, open for restrooms and brochures, amplifies its eerie feel at night, with vending machines humming in an otherwise silent space. Today, Whitehaven is a vibrant welcome center, open 24/7 for travelers, with guided tours Monday through Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., closed 12 to 1 p.m. for lunch. Free tours, praised on TripAdvisor for their historical depth, showcase Barclay's artifacts and the mansion's restored glory antique furnishings, crown molding, and polished floors. The grounds offer picnic tables and a butterfly garden, perfect for a restful stop. Recent maintenance, including a 2024 repainting, keeps it pristine, as noted by Paducah drone updates. Visitors are urged to respect the property, no overnight stays, except in the parking lot, and no unsupervised exploration after hours. Why it captivates. Whitehaven's hauntings are rooted in its verified history. Its 1970s decay, documented vandalism, and Civil War era context provide a foundation for its ghostly tales. Paranormal reports, though anecdotal, are consistent across TripAdvisor and local accounts, with footsteps, EVPs, and apparitions adding authenticity. For those over 50 who cherish historical preservation and subtle scares, Whitehaven's blend of elegance and eeriness is irresistible. The spirits of a lost woman and a soldier seem to linger, watching over this Bida-wee haven. Stop for a tour. But listen closely. The past may still be whispering.